everyone, we are here with a Thanksgiving craft, and this one is dedicated to Megan K00. She had asked me a while ago for a Scarecrow centerpiece for Thanksgiving, and she wanted it, I think, if I remember correctly, she wanted it kind of easy to make. So I've given it a lot of thought, and most of the materials we're going to be using, it's all very easily available, inexpensive, and a lot of it's even recycled. So I'm going to kind of run through what you'll need. You need a brown paper bag. This is kind of like a lunch bag. You'll need a couple of paper bags. I just happen to use a Trader Joe's ones. You need 2 of those, but any shopping bag will do. Some acrylic paint. It could be poster paint. It could be anything, any kind of paint that will work. A couple of big buttons. These I spray painted because, again, I couldn't find the right color, so I found some big buttons on clearance and I painted them. Some raffia or straw, some rope, scissors, hot glue. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm missing, and I have a recycled frozen dinner tray. I think that's mostly it. If there's anything else I'm missing, we'll come across it as we're doing this. A lot of the stuff I prepared ahead of time. I have cut 3 circles out of the paper bags. I painted one orange, one green, and one brown, and I cut the center of the brown because this is going to be the hat. Now, I had made a scarecrow before, a little ornament, and I'm kind of using that as my inspiration for this, but it's different materials that we're using. I've also cut a strip of, and I painted it brown, and that's going to go, that's the same color as the hat. And on some of my scrap bag, I've done some orange and some green, and we're going to just use that later for a little bit of decoration, so I'll put that on the side. And I'm going to use the straps also, because I have them, so I figure why not. The first thing I did was I took the brown paper lunch sack and I crumpled it up and I straightened it out, and then I filled it with crumpled newspapers, and then I tied the top, and then I just let it, I covered it with Mod Podge and I let it just hang to dry. And then, and the inside didn't get Mod Podge, just the outside. I wanted to give it a little bit of stability, and it also gave it a little bit of shine. So that's a step that you can do or not do. That's entirely up to you. And you don't have to fill it with newspapers. If you have recycling, crumple it up, stuff it in there, or paper shreds from your shredder would be a perfect filling for this as well. And I didn't even bother cutting the top off because that'll all be hidden. So I have this frozen dinner tray, and I have my hot glue, and you could use regular glue, should be fine also. And I have these 2 pieces. Now these 2 pieces are going to be kind of like the collar on here, on this one. And I went with orange and green this time. And I think because the green is a little darker, I think I will go with the green on top and the orange on the bottom. So all I'm going to do is throw a little glue on there and stick that on here. And I'm kind of winging it as I go, as I normally do, so we'll see how it all turns out. Now, this piece, I'm going to want to sit him in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to cut a slit going this way, and then I'm going to fold it that way, and I'm going to cut a slit going this way. And that gives it a little bit of an opening to sit a little bit better in there, and you can go further if you think that that is necessary or not. So that way when it's sitting in there, it kind of crumples his collar a little bit, which is good. We like that. So we'll do it that way. So what I'm going to do is throw hot glue in there, put that on there, stick this on here. We'll see if that holds it. Yep, there should be plenty. So I'll throw a little more on there though, on top of the green, so that the bag can sit here. So you might want to let that cool. And while it's cooling, you can take your scissors And I'm going to just fringe the outer rim. I'm not trying to make it even or anything like that, just fringe, fringe, fringe. And then if you think you might need some more hot glue on the edges here, you could do that too. If you think that might give you a little more stability, throw the glue on there. We're going to be covering all kinds of stuff up, so wherever you think you might need it, go ahead and do it. Okay, so it's all stuck together pretty well. If it's like it's coming apart a little bit here, I never threw any glue in there, so I'll throw a little in there for a little extra stability, plop it down, and we're good. Now you have to decide which side is going to be the front and which is going to be the back. I think this side is going to be the front. And I put a hole, and the hole could have been smaller. If I had to do it again, I'd probably do it a little smaller. And this is for the hat. And you can trim it down if you want it smaller. And here is just a long piece, painted that brown, let it dry. And it's much longer than we need. But I don't want to cut it down until I have it all shaped the way I want it. Okay, so we have it that tall. And all we're going to do is, if you can see, I've kind of crossed it and turned it a little bit. Because we want the top to be thinner than the bottom, otherwise it looks like a stove top hat, and we don't want that. We're not making Abraham Lincoln, we're making a scarecrow. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we'll put it on like this. So when you have the size and the look that you want, take your hot glue and just put a little bit where, so it can kind of tack it into place. And you don't lose the shape that you want. And you got a little time while it's hot to double check it and make sure you got it right. Okay, and I think it's pretty good. And then you're going to trim off any excess that you might have. So here's your hat. And what we're going to do while you have it this way is you see your face, and you want to make sure that people can see the face. You don't want to cover that up too much. So if you need to move it back just a little bit, move it back. And then on the top here, I'm going to kind of show it to you. I'm just going to put, because it'll be hard to see when I'm doing it, some glue just to be able to tack the brim of the hat down. So when you know you have it where you want it, put that on there and see if that's where you want it. And it can be a little floppy. We're good with that. Okay, I like it right there. Tack it down with a little bit of glue. Okay, so there you have it. And now you're going to have a pointy part here, which you're going to want to trim off as well. And then you're going to take the top part of the hat, and you're going to put it down. And then you're going to tack that with the glue also. And if you get a little bit messy, don't worry about it. We're going to do a little trimming and decorating, so don't sweat it. We can always cover up any hot glue. Now he's kind of roughly starting to take shape, and he's going to be looking a little bit less like a bag. And I happen to have these handles left over from the bags that I had, and all I'm going to do is, just to give him a little bit more of a personality, a little bit more, I guess, realism, even though he's not real, is I'm going to trim him, and I'm going to have a couple loops like this, and I'm going to glue it to either side of his head, and those are going to be his ears. So I'm going to kind of pick each side, and I'm just going to hot glue the ears into place. Okay, so here he sits, and I think it's time to give him a little personality. We've got the buttons for the eyes like we do on the little one. And again, I said I had spray painted them because I can never find the buttons that I want. But that's a perfect time to recycle old buttons from maybe a sweater or a coat that you're going to get rid of, and use that. Now, I'm going to cut a triangle out of some of the paper bag that I had painted in orange. And you can mix colors. You can mix the brown with the orange with the green or whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. It's your Scarecrow. Do whatever you want. And I kind of give it a rough cut because I don't know how big I want it to be. Because if I have the eyes, yeah, I think that nose is a little big. Okay, I'm going to lay them back and lean them against this bowl so I can work on them a little bit better. And I'm going to kind of place the eyes and the nose. Okay, when I have a good feel for where I want it to be, go for the hot glue, hold it into place. So now he's starting to come together a little bit, and we need to do his mouth. And on here, normally they have stitched mouths, and all I did here was a marker, and that's all I'm going to do now. I'm just going to take a permanent marker and draw right on his face, and I don't think you'll be able to see it while I'm doing it. I'll kind of give him a goofy smile, and then all I'm going to do is make little stripes that look like the stitching, and there's his face. Now he's starting to look a little more scarecrow-y. I have this rope, so all I'm going to do is measure it around, and then where it meets, I'm going to, with maybe just a little bit of excess, cut it. So all I'm going to do then is run a bead of hot glue around and lay the rope in. And then I'm going to do the same just above it, just to give it a little more, make it just a little bit thicker. There you go. There's his rope. Now you have the other pieces that you have painted. And all I'm going to do is, like I did here, I'm going to create some patches on his hat. And they could be square, they could be, you know, any shape that you want. And then all you have to do is glue them into place. Get one on a diagonal here. Hold it for a little bit. We're all patched up all the way around the hat. And you're going to have to do a little bit of pulling of the hot glue. So the next part then is the straw. And I have raffia here because I don't have any straw, any access to any straw. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cut some clumps of it. And this is where you want to be very careful when you're hot gluing this into place because it is very, very hot. And any place that you have maybe some hot glue that you want to cover, throw a little more down on there and stick the raffia right in there. Some of it might not stick, most of it probably will. And I'm going to put around the inside of the hat. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to have it sticking out around most of it probably. And I'm going to have it coming, like where it's coming together, to kind of disguise that a little bit. Okay, so if you keep working on that, I'm going to be putting some down around his neck, so that will disguise the squareness of his jaw, and I'll have some coming out by his head, and I'll be putting some in between here. And the nice thing about that tray is, that frozen food tray, is that's what really gives it the stability to stand. So if you are going to have it on your table as a centerpiece or anything like that, that will really give it, make it sturdy enough to stand. So I'm going to keep doing that, and then that's pretty much going to be all of it. Keep decorating, and I will show you how it all turns out. Hey everyone, we are back with the Scarecrow centerpiece, or just a decoration. It doesn't have to be a centerpiece. It's 90% finished, but my hot glue gun died right as I was trying to finish it, so I was trying to do it manually, which was a little hard because I don't know what happened, but like the trigger broke. So I got it on the front and everywhere where I would have it. I covered in here so he looks like he has some hair and stuffing sticking out from under the hat. I didn't quite finish. I would have put some more under here and coming out of the back and stuff like that. But for the purposes of the video, I think you kind of get the idea of where I was going, and I'll finish it up when I have time to go get a new glue gun. So I hope you like it. Hope you give it a try. It uses a lot of recycled materials and easy to find materials. And so especially Megan K00, I hope this turned out as well as you'd hoped. I hope you give it a try. I hope everyone gives it a try. And if you have any other suggestions or ideas of something you might like to see, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Usually game to give almost anything a try. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. We will see you next time. Happy holidays, happy crafting. Thanks for watching.